roll through a couple of the hot things that we're seeing right now out in sports. And the thing that it hurt my heart, it really did, was this right here.
Has all your work been appreciated in Atlanta? The truth. Nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yeah. Starting with the bangers here.
No, but
here's my thing. Okay. The short answer is probably no.
No.
Probably no. But at the same time, I'm proud of what I did and the time that I spent there. I think there was a level of consistency.
Yes.
Whoo!
Man, can I start here? Because this, I'm with you. That hurt. That hurt me.
It hurt.
It hurt me a ton. I'll try to do. I've done this in my head a couple times. I watched the clip the first time I saw it hit Twitter, and it truly, I just had this reaction to it. I was like, man, that made me sad. And I will not sit up here and be like, I was always a Matt Ryan defender. I was not. I was always not in Matt Ryan's camp. Not in his camp. I don't mean it like that. Like, I just, there would be times where in group chats or after going to games or watching games where I felt like I put more of the blame on Matt Ryan with my fandom, right? Of like why the Falcons were not achieving, obviously after the Super Bowl, some of the things, right? And so what hurt me in that clip there was you saw him kind of rub the hands and the voice inflection. And we need to be honest. Matt Ryan is the best quarterback ever to don a Falcons uniform. We, as if you're sitting here watching this, I'll give you a little bit of our fandom as like brothers and like our family and everything. My first game I ever went to was when Deion Sanders and Andre Rison got into the fight when Deion came back as a Niner. And that was my first ever like football game, right, when I was a kid. An amazing experience, and then you're kind of like locked in. And then the Falcons weren't great, right, until kind of the Dirty Birds and Jamal Anderson and everything, kind of that crazy year. And they go to the Super Bowl, don't expect to win. They get blown out by the Broncos. Then a few years later, we draft this guy out of Virginia Tech. We all watched, at that time, like there's not that many options to watch things, right? So everybody watched that Sugar Bowl and saw Mike Vick go against that Florida State team, and it felt like really felt like 1 against 13, right? And he was a one-man band. And you're like, oh my gosh, the Falcons are going to draft this dude. And as you know, Atlanta is an incredibly pro-black city. And when we drafted Mike Vick, there was this air and this. It's so hard to explain the feeling of like having a guy like Mike Vick be the quarterback of your team at the time that like hip hop is going through this, like it's becoming mainstream and it's becoming so cool. Everybody's wearing a 7 jersey. And then obviously everything happens with the dogfighting and everything like that, right? And so our team is down bad. And we draft this kid out of Boston College who not only stabilizes the position, but embraces the city in a way that I don't think we give him a lot of credit for. And I mean, he was an MVP, right, in 16. He takes us to a Super Bowl. We also, I mean, we've never had a period like that without Matt Ryan, right? We've never had a period where we were perennially, year in, year out, you knew at the quarterback position, we had a guy that can make every throw, can make every read. Obviously, he and Julio Jones have this amazing tandem and connection. And you now see it right now, being a fan of this team. You're like, I wish we had Matt Ryan, right? I don't care about the red zone interceptions or anything like that. Like, I wish number 2 was back there. And I agree. He does not get the credit he deserves. I am sorry, Matt. I am so sorry. I'm sorry as a fan that you feel that way. I'm sorry for my part of that, whatever that part is. And I hope at some point we as fans can rectify that, because Matt Ryan, I will say it again, is the best quarterback to ever play for the Falcons.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got to come on top of it too with this. My bad, Matt. I was young. I was blinded. Now, he came into a situation that was honestly a lose-lose situation with the fans, because like you said, Mike Vick, to come on the heels of everything that happened with Mike Vick. And Mike Vick was at the top of the sports world. And it's the first time that Atlanta is not looked at as a joke in football, but is actually taken serious in pop culture, in the sports world, entertainment. Everything is gravitating towards Atlanta being the hub of sports. Basketball, baseball, didn't matter. You had the guy that Beckham would fly in to come see, that Ronaldo might want to come over and say, he is that guy. Right. And he is embraced for his blackness that wasn't seen at the quarterback position the way it was, the way that Doug Williams was how they made him feel for how he played the game. But it was finally embraced. And Mike was so electric that there was no refuting. He might have had some shortcomings when it came to accuracy, but you're like, when I watch him, I stand up. I don't do anything else but watch to see what's going to happen, because you don't know. And that's the only thing I think I can equate is maybe Barry Sanders, but it's not to the same level. But that's the only thing I can parallel it or compare it to for our older listeners out there. So you have that person, you have that guy that was so embraced, so beloved. And then you have that void that is there now, and you have anger. And I think that's the biggest thing that's kind of missed, is the anger that fans were feeling at seeing a black man that was at the top of the sports world come crashing down. And all you see now is a reflection of yourself in familial situations of a man that had everything, but then the system said, you are just another black man, get out of here. And you got railroaded again. You're like, oh, here we go again. Same song, different dance. So now you have that anger by the fans, and you have a man that comes in here, looks like he's fresh off of Wall Street, just got off of the Wolf of Wall Street set and came into Atlanta clean cut. And you're like, well, if you don't know, you're like, well, what do we have here? I know he's good, but do we really want to replace Mike with this guy? This is going to be our guy. And so he wasn't given that fair shake. And that's why it hurts to hear him choke up as he's saying that he wasn't appreciated, because he wasn't given the chance to be appreciated. And by time people really people came around, and it was that Super Bowl. And if you ask anybody in Atlanta, a true Atlanta fan, what happened in that game, you will never hear one person say it was Matt Ryan's fault.
Right.
Matt Ryan was not the cause for the Super Bowl debacle that we ran into, even though you see highlights of the fumble pulls, but it was not Matt. So that is the one positive thing that you can take out. And then you can see people really shifting and being like, hey, Matt is Atlanta. Matt is our guy. But I wish through those earlier years, we could have given that appreciation, given a fair shake to this guy who didn't deserve to have the things that were said about him. And it wasn't really directed to him, but it was about the situation that was created and about how the organization also, until we learned about these details from Mike himself, felt how they handled the situation with Michael Vick. And then now you have this new guy coming in. So so Matt, I apologize, along with my co-host as well. He's a Falcon great, but I think on the flip side of things, and, it pains me because, I'm an athlete, you're an athlete, but you don't think about having to really deal, especially with your home crowd, those type of comments, that type of negativity, and then have to come out day in and day out and put that smile on your face, have that determination, and then always trying to prove people wrong. You always want people to be in your camp. So I wish we could take some stuff back and go back a little bit in time. But you know what, Matt? The flowers will come. The city of Atlanta has embraced you in a way that I think that few athletes and few prominent people, just prominent across history, have gotten. So, that it hurt, but we will make this right. We will get in our inner circles and we'll get it to author blank that we need to do something for Matt and around this city real soon.
I agree. And and again, I want to say, he, even to your point there, even with some of the negativity and him kind of fighting this uphill battle of not being what Mike represented and what Mike was, he and his wife, set up organizations and fundraisers, and they embraced the city. And I think, to your point, the city did not at first embrace him. And I hope we can make this right and make him feel like, how he should, right? As, again, the best quarterback that's ever donned a Falcons uniform.